Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Put.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today?
Good.
How you doing today? Welcome
Morning,
to First
Earthlings.
Contact
How you doing today?
Radio.
Welcome to First Contact Radio.
To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. We'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. We'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First
the
Contact
truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Tuesday, May 5th, 2015. Hope all is well in your world this month of May, this day in May. All right, here's what we got going. Sun sign. Sun sign is in Taurus. A little refresher here. Taurus, Hierophant, spiritual teacher. Hebrew letter Vav means nail or hook. Whole idea of the Hierophant, spiritual teacher, is hooking the spiritual with the physical. It's an earth sign. Taurus is an earth sign dealing with the physical world, dealing with the body, dealing with physical and material things. So there's a lot of good things implied with Taurus. Taurus and enjoying the pleasures of life. But one of the secrets is, as always, to connect the spirit. And that seems to be what's missing in life. We're missing the spirit. And if we had the spirit really embedded and instilled in everybody and everyone was really connected in with it, do you think we'd have all these problems we'd be having? Absolutely not. The reason we're having the problems is because of the disconnection. Now our moon sign for today is Sagittarius. Tarot card of Temperance. Sagittarius is a fire sign. Fire moves. Fire burns. Fire is about ideas. So Sagittarius is all about ideas and learning how to balance things out. You notice that you got the fire and the water all being balanced out by the character here. 1 foot on the land, conscious mind, 1 foot on the water, the unconscious. So there's a lot of balance implied by this. And in the Tree of Life, the card of Temperance is right in the middle. And it's a balancing card. It's balancing out all aspects of preconceived ideas and false notions. So today we've got earth and fire. Earth and fire. We made that transition at 6:13 a.m. So we're just fresh into the new moon sign, where we'll be for a couple of days until Thursday. The first aspect coming up today comes up at 11:38 a.m. Pacific time, and that is a conjunction between Sagittarius and Saturn. So Saturn, discipline, focus. Okay, and a conjunction, what a conjunction means here is when we look at a grid, one of these grids here. Okay, a conjunction is when two signs are like within the same area here. Okay, so within this same house. And when they're both in the same house, it's a conjunction. So here we have Sagittarius and Saturn. So let's just take a look here. Sagittarius and Saturn. So there we go. You can see they're right next to each other. So that's what a conjunction is, okay? Both of them are right there. So when you're right next to each other, just think about in life. When two people are next to each other, what can happen? Communication can happen. An opportunity for two people to talk. Or two people to ignore each other. We live in a world today where two people could be next to each other and having a text conversation with people not even present, while the two people present just ignore each other completely. It's a crazy situation, but that's the world we live in. So this is saying we need to focus. We need to focus our ideas, and we need to discipline ourselves to be a bit more focused in the way we use our energy, the way we use the fire, because fire burns. And so if we're going to use fire, let's make sure we're using it effectively. That's not going to hurt others and be somewhat effective. Here we have an aspect between Mercury and Sagittarius, and this one is an opposition. So what we have with an opposition If we look here, an opposition, because the two of them are between Mercury and Sagittarius. Mercury and Sagittarius, so we know Sagittarius right here. So we look across, and there we have Mercury. Okay? So that's what opposition means, opposite. So it's like on a teeter-totter, right? This one over here, Mercury, is down over here, and this one's over here, and they're trying to balance each other out. But it's like a teeter-totter, so it just depends how the two are going to play nice together. Mercury is about communication. Sagittarius, which is the opposite, is the balancing sign to Gemini, to Mercury. So there's a lot of good opportunity that's available because the two are deeply connected. So there's an opportunity to be able to take our ideas and really find a way to communicate them, express what it is that's moving through us, express the temperance that we have available to us. And then later tonight, 11:47 p.m., a square, Neptune, is this one right here. And so what we have is Neptune being a sign of the hangman in the tarot, says we need to take a new perspective on things. A new perspective on things. And the things we need to take a perspective on are Sagittarian issues, fire, ideas, the way in which we balance our world. So there's a big lesson coming up just before midnight that we're going to need to deal with, lead us through into the night. So maybe if you're going to sleep, into the dream world, set forth the intention to understand a little bit more about what's going on. Use your imagination. Okay? So that's what's going on there today. And of course, you got the wheel. So you could see and use the wheel. It shows you here's aspects coming up. Right here. And this next one here, the sun is trine Pluto, and that's in 17.4 hours. All of these are things that are coming up, and the ones here are the things we've just passed. On the Jewish calendar, today is 16 Lyre. Omer day count 31, tonight 32. Remember, we're making our way up to 49. The daily thought, female redeeming power. When you look carefully into the story of the Exodus, you see that the true redeeming force was the faith of the women. Today, history is repeating itself. Current moon phase is just slightly past the full moon, 98% of the way to go. It's a waning moon, which means that we're now starting to go down towards the new moon. Solar wind currently at 360.7 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index quiet at a 2. Coronal holes, they've really subsided from the ones we saw last week, but we do still have a couple here that are popping up. M-class flare possibility is now up to 20%. X-class at 1. Geomagnetic storm activity seems to be increasing in the middle latitudes, going from 10 up to 35 being active, and in the upper latitudes also making about a 5 to 15% increase, up to severe from 20 to 45. And last, looking up at the sky tonight, here we have the 5th. If we look to the left of the moon, just to the left of it, we're going to see Saturn. And then just a little bit below Saturn, we see part of Scorpius, and then Sagittarius. So we can kind of follow along and see where we are in the sky in conjunction to what's going on. It says, look low into the northeast in the twilight for the rising of Vega, the summer star. By nightfall, Vega shines brighter and better view. As it gains altitude, it grows to be the equal of Arcturus, the spring star, very high in the east. They're both magnitude 0. Late this evening, the waning gibbous moon forms a triangle with Saturn to its upper right and Antares to its lower right. Here's Antares right there. Okay, so that's as things move a little bit. There you have it. That is our cosmic weather. In other words, the energy we're dealing with today. Let's jump away to UFO news. That's up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
Alrighty, Dirk. Thank you very much. Okay, our first sighting today takes us to Phoenix. We certainly know about UFOs in Phoenix, right? Phoenix lights. Well, this one is a large triangle filmed from a parking garage. Last night while going home, I tried to take some photos of the church near the parking garage. I'm always recording stuff just for fun, and I happened to take some stills because the exposure was not working out correctly. And looking back at the photos, I found this triangle-shaped object, or three objects in a triangle shape. This one is the best. This is one of the better UFO sightings that I have captured thus far. Okay. So it's a 1 minute and 9 second video. And there we go. Right there you can see them there lights. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Next one is above San Antonio, Texas, May 1st. And we can't see what this is because this stupid thing is covering. Let me fix this here, see if this makes a difference. It says new interesting footage about a flight over San Antonio. And now it's giving me all sorts of challenges. Alright, well maybe we might have to, there we go. There we be. Alright, let me show you the sighting here. Okay. Alright, here we go. This is the sighting, said I did not hear any engine noise from the direction. Awesome sighting due to how the orb emitted a different spectrum of colors. This red neon blue glowing object was clearly no weather balloon. So we have a 5 minute 23 second video in which we could see this changing colors. There we go. Alright. For anyone looking to capture UFOs, if you had a tripod handy, that would be very useful. As you can see a difference, obviously there is a tripod that this camera is on, some sort of a stand, because you could see it's very stationary. Whereas we see some videos which are very shaky, the person doesn't have a tripod. So if you really want to get something good and clear, get a tripod. That way you can get a nice good image like this one here. Okay, let's move on to the next story. Alright, this is an object right there. Remember last week we saw the bison up on? Well, now this is another thing that was found up there on Mars. What do you think that is? Just a rock? At first look, this looks like any other Mars photo, but on closer inspection, you find the ancient remains of war, a hand weapon with an upper and lower barrel. Strangely enough, the same weapon is in the game series Halo. I mention Halo because it's a very popular game that has a realistic and creative environment, one that shows technology and soldiers very similar to what we will one day see here on Earth. The weapon melted into the stone it sits on. I say it was one heck of a battle. Alright, and this is a rendition of what those might look like. Perhaps these are the ones from the game Halo. Very interesting indeed. Many glowing UFOs over San Diego, California. There's our grouping right up here. Remember I told you I saw white glowing balls of light in the sky over Taiwan May 1st at midnight? Well, they either came from or went to San Diego at the speed I saw them traveling. They would arrive there in about an hour or less. Tuesday night, several San Diegans spotted mysterious lights in the sky, and one witness snagged a picture. According to NBC 739 viewer Larry Fox sent a picture of a string of multicolored lights. Taken in his backyard, Fox said, I have a series of flashing lights. If it is a plane, it would have moved. He described them as red, blue, green lights kept flashing and changing colors. According to NBC, Fox wasn't the only person to see the lights. They received multiple reports from viewers as well as an NBC photographer. Real or fake, this is far from the first time a UFO has been spotted in San Diego. In fact, local musician Tom DeLonge of Blink-182 claims to have witnessed multiple UFOs over San Diego on the night of Monday, August 25, 2014. An active UFO researcher, Blink 182, and Angels and Airwaves rocker once posted on Facebook, "Last night, UFO in San Diego." Ha. Yes, my wife and I followed it for 30 minutes. A fleet of cars were pulled over watching it with us. Some say they were watching it for an hour. It was 2 sets of lights going in and out, popping up in different directions. Ha ha. Yes, I was there. Anyone know how happy I am? All right, so let's take a look at some of this footage. All right, definitely have a good object right up there. Just hanging there in the sky, blinking, changing colors. Very good sighting. All right, here we have Unsolved Riddle. Speculation abounds after BC UFO sighting. On Monday night in Esquimalt, BC, Canada, 2 weird items shooting around the sky were seen by Brian Cooper, his wife Melissa. They promptly recorded what he asserts as likely a mystery military vehicle, perhaps evidence of an outsider life utilizing his PDA. Cooper included that the articles initially showed up around 8:30 p.m. One soon vanished. However, the other continued to fly over the zone, including over Esquimalt Navy base. He portrayed it as being as large as a Volkswagen, quickly flying like an automaton, and its roundabout specialty had lights that spun in all headings. Beside the couple, Verilyn Weaver, who additionally saw the sensation, said that she had also can't clearly clarify it and included that she experienced childhood with Army installations, yet never seen anything like that. Despite the fact that the Navy base declined to watch the feature, they affirmed that there were no military lights of any sort close to the base Monday, and that neither the Victoria nor Saanich police had gotten any reports about the marvel. Dr. John Willis, material science and stargazing educator of the University of Victoria, said that it is difficult to focus the precise protest in the sky after viewing the grainy and unsteady PDA feature. He doubtlessly carries images how it could be outside her frame, and said that it could be more probable to be an automaton, however, couldn't be demonstrated with the nature and the confirmation. David Carlos of Victoria Air Photos and Survey, a specialist automaton, said that what Cooper saw was a UAV Ramble, multi-rover electrical vehicle. In addition, Willis said that it couldn't be an outsider shape either, yet never 100%. The Coopers, unsatisfied with the clarification, remained doodads and would without a doubt need to divulge the genuine character of what they saw outside the flat. All right, so let's jump here and let's take a look at this. And when it's all right, so this is a news report from Vancouver. I'm just trying to see if we can get to the place where we can find the image. You got the witnesses talking about what they saw, and there we go. All right, I'm going to leave this for you so you can check it out. All right, very interesting. What you see here looks like an alien, doesn't it? Sure does. But what's amazing about this is part of a painting. A painting called the Mona Lisa. Yes, you've heard of it. The likelihood of Leonardo da Vinci being an alien or half-breed is very high. He shows all the signs. He had very high intellectual ability, extraordinary creative range, and used them to accomplish quite a bit. Leonardo is somebody who is able to operate across all these various fields, which is very unusual. Geniuses rarely are great in all areas like Leonardo. He was known for hiding secret messages and codes in his artwork. So this new discovery gives us the keys that we have been missing about him. His extraordinary abilities came from or were those of aliens. Okay, here we go. Many theologians believe that Leonardo deliberately concealed secret codes and subliminal messages in most of his work. If this is true, then it is reasonable to assume that the Mona Lisa was in fact painted in order to conceal important historical and religious facts, possibly regarding the extraterrestrial presence and its supercilious involvement with the Roman Catholic Church. Okay, so the video itself here is 2 minutes and 51 seconds. And as you can see, when they take these two images, they put them together, and you start to get this image right here. So that's what shows up there. So is this something that Leonardo planted, do you think? Painted? Knowing that there would be the opportunity for people to find it if they were to do exactly what is being done here? Okay, quite possible. I'll leave that for you to check out. And the very last thing here, this is another video, UFOs, Conspiracies, Government Black Ops, a full documentary. UFOs, governments, black ops, and the ongoing conspiracy of secrecy that drains the world of treasure and sucks vital energy from the planet is explored with Dr. Sean David Morton. The distinction between technocrats and autocrats is illuminated as the shadow government is explored. Spooky examinations at Area 51, hidden financial motivations behind 9/11, the Palladians, and how Earth is a magnet school for the universe is discussed in an uncensored buzzsaw hosted by Sean Stone. Okay, so here's Sean David Morton right here. The video, 51 minutes 44 seconds. So I'm just going to let you check that out on your own. You have a bio, Sean David Morton. It says Sean is a multi-award winning independent filmmaker and has been a reporter, writer, producer, director for Hard Copy, Sighting Strange Universe, Unsolved Mysteries, Ancient Aliens, Paranormal, Borderline, and has appeared on countless radio and TV shows. He's the author of Black Seraph and the Dark Prophet, spy thrillers about the inner workings of the Vatican and the Jesuits. His latest book, Sands of Time, Volume 1 and 2, the true memoir of a man in black, describes 40 years of the adventures of a top-level director of the shadow government. He's authored over a dozen screenplays and is currently working on the funding for a film and media distribution company. All right, very good. So check this out. I think you might enjoy it. Sean always has lots of great information. If you've never seen him talk, do so. He's really he's got a lot of insight and a lot of info for you. And that is the UFO news for today. I'll be back in just a few moments and we shall continue on.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Great Spirit, send down your love, send down your love.
Send down your love, shine down your light, show us the way each and every day. Oh, 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 oh,
All right, let us continue. So, gotta be perfectly honest. I sometimes, even though I like to talk, there's sometimes where I just kind of feel like I don't know really what direction I want to take the stories. Because I've told you in the past, I'm not wanting. I love conspiracy theories. I think they're awesome. But so many of them are filled with fear, and I really don't want to be one of those fear mongers. That's why, when I do the show, I have a journey you go on when you go on the show. And those of you who watch, you understand because you comment about those things. So I appreciate the fact that you see it. But the way I see it, look, the world's got problems. We all know that. It's not a perfect place. We're all learning here. But one thing is certain, this is a world that is a world of energy. It's all about energy. And in this world of energy, we have an opportunity to use the energy in many different ways. If we use it in a positive way, we have positive results. And if we use it in a negative way, we have negative results. And when we go out into the world, each day we're challenged in how we're going to use our energy, what we're going to do. That's why I start off every show the way I do, cosmic weather. And then from there, I like to go into, here's the UFO news, here's what's going on, here's some things that are happening in the world, different events that are taking place, sometimes conspiracy theory, sometimes events. And, the events of everyday life are like a conspiracy theory. We seem to be living in a conspiracy as we go along. And the whole idea by the end of the show, the journey is to take you from that back into ending in something positive. That's the whole point, okay? We don't want to get caught up in all the negative. We don't want to keep harping on that because it doesn't do us any good. The objective is to find a way out of the negative into the positive, to continue to propagate life, to continue to create, to continue to build up. Well, at the same time, we need to find a way to do that. Well, there is so much destruction going on and chaos that seems to be taking place. So it seems our job is to find a way to move through all of this, because some of it, quite frankly, I don't know that we can stop. So we need to learn kind of to adapt to what's going on, be smart about what's going on, knowing that this is the situation in the world, that there are both angels and demons running around on the earth, and that we have to make our own choices because it's part of our soul growth and the karma that we're creating. So all that being said, sometimes like today, I find that really all I have to show you is what's going on in the world, because it's important to understand where we're being led. Last week I did a topic on how we're being led and kind of betrayed. We're being played, I believe was the words I used. And I fully believe that. I fully believe that Americans are being played and have been played for a long time. They're being played in many ways. They're being played in racial issues, being divided according to their skin colors. We're being played politically, being divided according to our ideas of who we believe is the best candidate out there. We're being played economically. We're being played socially. We're being played educationally. In every way, shape, or form, we're being betrayed, enslaved. And yet, when you go to forums and you read where people outside of the country talk about what's going on in the good old USA, I find it very disheartening to see how many Americans not only defend their own stupidity and their stupid actions and the stupid things we do, but have no desire to want to change what's going on and continually just want to point the finger at somebody else. And that doesn't do us any good. We really need to take a good, hard look at ourselves, my friends. Here's the cold, hard facts, the reality. We are not an exceptional nation. We are not the greatest country on earth. Maybe a one time we might have been, but the greatest country on earth doesn't do the things that we do. We're a country that is really fighting against itself, and that's not a great country. If we look statistically at what's going on education-wise, we're not even in the top 10. In most cases, we're not even in the top 15. So certainly in education standards, we can't say we're a great country. And across the board. But we have the potential to be. And that's the beauty of it. So when Americans stop living in the past and saying how wonderful we are, and start living in the present and realize that we've fallen, we've made some mistakes, we need to get back up and we need to do it better than we were doing it before, then things will change. But until we get to that point, we're just going to be living in a denial. A denial where the governments run black ops on the American people and the people are clueless, because our government would never do that to us, right? The denial that there's a racial issue that is being pushed by the media. The denial of all the things that are going on. So we need to really pay attention. I know I say this over and over and I probably sound like a broken record, but it seems to be very important because we're caught up in some sort of trap. And when we hear about things like Jade Helm coming up, you have to wonder, where is that going? Most Americans are clueless to what's going on. You know about it because it's been discussed on this show, and you've probably gone off and done your own research as well. But how many Americans don't know what Jade Helm is? Ask people if they know what it is. Most Americans don't even know about their country. How many people do you know that tell you that they're a proud American? But when you ask them about America, like the signing of the Declaration, when that happened, or the Constitution, they couldn't even tell you. Because most proud Americans are just proud to be an American, but they don't know anything about the history of this country. And when you ask them the question, oh, they're offended that you would ask them. How dare you question their patriotism? But if you're truly patriotic, I would imagine you would know those kind of things. It's sad to me that the younger generations are being so misinformed about what's going on, because that doesn't help us. Education is really going down the circling the drain and going down here in America. People are becoming dumber and dumber. We can hear every day the things people say. Listen to what's going on in these discussions about racism, what people actually believe. We have such a misunderstanding about what's gone on in this country around the issues of slavery. The younger generations that don't understand it, all they know is what the older generations have told them. And if the older generations haven't been honest with them about what's really gone on, we're in a sad state. Because then things just keep getting worse and worse. I guess I'm going to jump into this now, because one of the things that really irritates me is the discussions of slavery. Because it seems as these issues should be well past us. I hear many members of the black community keep wanting to blame Whitey for the slavery. Yet do you know that probably 70% of the Americans that are here now were still in Europe at the time when slavery was going on? Most Americans weren't even here. Their ancestors weren't even here in this country. Yet you'll still have people pointing their fingers at all white people, saying it's all your fault. It's not white people's fault. It's the fault of whatever system went on. People are people. We all make mistakes. We have all enslaved each other at one time or another because we've been stupid. And yet this stupidity continues. And when folks don't pass along what really happened in history, then we're doomed to repeat that ugly lesson of the past. You know, it's sad. And I don't understand. And I don't understand. And that's pretty much it, you know. And so I'm going to bring up some stories here. I thought today I'd hit a couple of them and just kind of what's going on lately, just so we can kind of take a look, because, you know, problems. So Baltimore, we all saw what happened in Baltimore. We're hearing the stories of what went on in Baltimore. We see that there's police officers now been charged, and we could see that this wasn't a racial issue at all. But people out there want to make it a racial issue. People want to say that the poor people of Baltimore have never gotten any help, and that this happened because of blah, blah, blah. Let me show you an article here. I want to show you something, because there's agendas at stake and going on. I'd say one agenda certainly is pointed out when you have a mayor of a city say that they want to give room for the people to destroy. There seems to be some sort of agenda, because why would you let anybody have room to destroy? A city especially. Doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, this article says Baltimore received $1.8 billion from Obama's stimulus law. City burned despite massive investment implemented by the president. The city of Baltimore received over $1.8 billion from President Barack Obama's stimulus, including $467.1 million to invest in education and $26.5 million for crime prevention. Yet President Obama claimed last Tuesday that if the Republican-controlled Congress would implement his policies to make massive investments in urban communities, they could make a difference right now in the city, currently in upheaval following the death of Freddie Gray. However, a Washington Free Beacon analysis found that the Obama administration and democratically controlled Congress did make a massive investment into Baltimore, approximately $1.8 billion. The actual amount is $1,831,768,487. And this was through the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, commonly known as the stimulus. According to the recovery, and then it breaks down where the money went and so on. At the end of the article, after they do all these breakdowns here, it gets on talking about, let's see here, Obama called for more early education programs, criminal reforms, and making investments so that the youth can get the training they need to find jobs. There's a bunch of my agenda that would make a difference right now in that, he said. The president then proceeded to blame the Republican-controlled Congress for not implementing his agenda. I'm under no illusion that under the Congress we're going to get massive investments in urban communities. The left-wing comedian Jon Stewart and ABC News anchor George Stephanopoulos made a similar argument on The Daily Show on Tuesday. You just wonder sometimes if you're spending $1 trillion to rebuild Afghanistan schools, like we can't build a little taste down Baltimore way, Stewart said. Like, this is what's really going on. This is what drives me crazy. You just got applause when you said just that one line, Stephanopoulos said. Any single politician in the country gets applause when it says that line, yet it doesn't happen. Peter Weiner of Commentary Magazine pointed out that the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, invested only $885 million in education projects in Afghanistan over a 10-year period. And that's far less than the $1.8 billion that Baltimore received from the stimulus. Point of this article is something's going on, okay? Money is being given to a situation, and yet that money is not fixing the situation. You know what the problem is? You got young, angry people out there, and a city that's making excuses for them, and a media that's covering up for them. In a situation of young, angry people is going to spread across the country unless we do something about it. Education in schools isn't going to do anything if the schools have been subverted by bad teaching. Education can only come when people tell the truth of what's going on. We need to X out what's going on in the education system, because you see what's going on. Kids are being railroaded. Kids are being taught all kind of nonsense these days, and educators should just be ashamed of themselves for what they're teaching kids these days. Anyway, I'm just rambling today. Here's another story. This one's interesting. This strange plant only grows where there are diamonds beneath the ground. Okay, get a good look at this. Garden spades at the ready. Geologists have noticed that one particularly thorny plant only grows where there are fortunes and diamonds beneath the ground. A Florida International University researcher believes that the plant Pandius candelabrum grows on top of lava pipes and is an easy way to spot potential diamond mines. It's the first species thought to be the pointer to diamond mines and could make millions for prospectors. It's native to Liberia, an African nation rich in diamonds but ravaged by civil war and recent Ebola outbreak. Prospects are going to jump on it like crazy. Stay Stephen Shirley, a geologist at Carnegie Institute of Science. And here we go. This is something I thought I'd bring up. You may have heard this story. We've heard many times possibility we're going to get hit by an asteroid. Well, here's another one. This one is planned for. This one is talked about for September, and it seems to be, at least there's the thought, that all of this movement of Jade Helm, the closings of the various Walmarts and other places, and the departure and disappearance of a lot of CEOs that seem to be taking time off. A lot of these things seem to point to people preparing for some sort of event this coming September. So what we have here is Asteroid Impact, Apocalypse 2015. Mass anxieties, conspiracy theorists predict catastrophe. The claim that the U.S. government has information about an impending asteroid impact catastrophe, but is keeping the information secret to prevent mass panic, is spreading fast and causing a growing anxiety among doomsday believers. Following a series of warnings from doomsday prophets, there is increasing convergence of opinion among believers that an asteroid apocalypse will occur in September 2015. But while governments with privileged information are allegedly keeping the information secret, the elite are preparing secretly to survive the catastrophe, according to conspiracy theorists. There are several versions of the predictions of asteroid impact apocalypse being generated and circulated by the online conspiracy theory rumor mill, but the separate strands have converged to strengthen conviction among susceptible individuals exposed to the constant bombardment of doomsday predictions that the asteroid apocalypse will occur in 2015. The growing mass hysteria appears to have originated in the self-proclaimed prophet, Reverend Ephraim Rodriguez, who claimed that he sent a letter to NASA on November 12, 2010, titled Letter to the Space Agency, Meteor Heading Towards Puerto Rico. In the letter, he claimed that he received a message from God that an asteroid would soon be seen and alarm systems of NASA was approaching. He said the asteroid would hit the ocean near Puerto Rico and cause a massive earthquake and a tsunami that would devastate the east coast of the U.S., Mexico, Central, and South America. Warning against ignoring the message, he instructed NASA to issue an alert so people can be relocated from the areas that are to be affected. Despite this letter to NASA, Rodriguez believes that the relevant agencies were aware of the impending catastrophe. He claimed NASA had confirmed the trajectory of the asteroid and that President Barack Obama has been briefed, but the rich and powerful were making plans to store food and build protective shelters for themselves. Following Rodriguez's prophetic message, several other online groups erupted with a cacophony of related predictions and claims that have caused alarm and helped to heighten tensions and fears of an impending asteroid Armageddon. Rumors, fueled by online NWO conspiracy theory websites, claimed that FEMA was stocking up body bags, coffins, and other emergency response supplies in preparation for the major catastrophe in Puerto Rico. Says the rumors forced FEMA to issue a statement in 2013. The agency denied it was stockpiling body bags. The FEMA Caribbean Region Director Alejandro de la Campa said that it was normal for the agency to purchase and store relevant disaster response material, and it has not made any extraordinary, unusual purchases recently. Their statement was FEMA is aware of the speculation regarding the purchase of materials from around the United States, especially the Atlantic region. There is no specific threat, catalyst, or alert behind the purchase of additional supplies. But FEMA's efforts to counter growing fears of an asteroid catastrophe in Puerto Rico and along the east coast of the U.S. mainland haven't done much to stop spreading rumors that could spark mass panic. With the conspiracy theory community looking out for signs of an impending catastrophe, the statement by the French Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius in May 2014 that the world had only 500 days to avoid climate chaos was interpreted widely as a veiled asteroid impact disclosure statement, although in reality the minister was only expressing hope that the United Nations Climate Conference was scheduled to open in Paris, France in November 2015 would yield positive results. Alright, so there's more to this. I'm going to leave this to you because I want to move on from this, but just something to be aware of. So you hear all about all this movement with Jade Helm, you hear about the CEOs leaving, you hear about Walmarts and other places that are having plumbing issues and they're closing. Might be about this. One of the models that I understand is, close to this is the movie Deep Impact. And some say that the movie Deep Impact is a movie that is like a predictive programming, letting people know that something may happen. And if we look at signs in the movie, it is the movie was made in a time when the presidents we had were only white presidents. Yet the president in there was a black man, just like we have in office right now. So for that reason, there are those who are saying that the situation that is taking place could be very real, and that the movie itself was something that might have alluded to that. Anyway, let's move on from there. This is the part where we're going to jump into an article here over at In5D. We talk about energy transforming us all the time. This article is about that. Transformational frequencies are rapidly increasing, by Michelle Walling. Way showers, star seeds, and light workers. Please read this information about the frequencies that have been rapidly accelerating on the planet. Can you feel it? While the world seems to be topsy-turvy and in a chaotic state, behind the scenes, a beautiful cleansing is occurring. I have received an internal call to move my main focus from shedding light on the reptilian Draco Gray agenda to resuming my energy work. I have mentioned in several of my radio shows and the Cosmic Awakening show about how I consider myself an antenna for the energies coming from the great central sun. These energies are coming to the planet from the source, and the astrological alignment of our times allows for them to reach us in order to help raise the vibrational frequency. If you have been following articles on In5D and how to exit the matrix, you know that the frequency shift we are experiencing is how we will all exit the false light matrix that has been imposed around us. Many of us are here to ground these energies onto the planet. To do this, we can focus on opening up our crown chakra to allow the energy to come down through our body and down into the planet. Imagining these energies infiltrating the planetary grids along with collective human consciousness has been part of my work here. I've been told that just my work alone has made a considerable difference in our planetary timeline, where it has accelerated our shift forward by 15 years. Imagine what one person's efforts multiplied could do. I would think that it would quickly merge into a now movement. I have felt that I have been a holding pattern for about 6 months, which has allowed us to do some final clearing. Clearing makes for space for the energy to be anchored. Time has been speeding by, but on the other hand, it feels like it's taking forever to see the changes in our reality. However, recently I have noticed that manifestations of thoughts have been exponentially increased, where ESP, precognition, and dreams that manifest into reality have shown me that we are indeed making a difference towards our intention of raising the planet's frequency. As a spirit, having a human experience, I still ask for validation along my path in order to know that I am doing the highest and best practices for humanity. When I received the guidance and began working on the energies again, I watched from the following video from Bill Ballard the very next day. He gave me my confirmation in the first 5 minutes of the video. He also explained how fast the energy layers are building up upon each other in octaves. Alright, so here's the video, 52 minutes. Check that out. Bill says right around Easter 2015 we had a frequency increase coming in new notes. Better yet, we have had 3 full notes this month, causing the full dramatic increase in frequency. He says now we have 7 full notes and 5 half notes in every octave. Bill pointed out from 92 to 2010 we would get a frequency upgrade every 18 months or so. And then since 2010 we got them every several months until 2012. After the 11-11-11 doorway and the December 2012 shift in frequency, there began an exponential increase unlike anything we have felt before. I can hear these energies in my head, so I can verify what he is saying. When I heard Bill say I consider myself a walking antenna, I hear the energies receive the energies and send them back out. I was so happy that someone else was reiterating this. I share this with you because I am told that this is what we can focus on now for the planet and humanity, and if we do this in groups, we will be exponentially magnified. I was heading out towards the West Coast tour in June, which is in a few months later than I had planned, but I'm sure there is a good reason for this. I will be placing Orgonite along the way as my way of anchoring these energies to the planet. The Orgonite will be programmed as its own little receiver with my energy, serving as a replica antenna. I hope to meet with like-minded individuals in small groups so we can focus on anchoring the energies to the planet to help birth the shift in consciousness. These will be informal, impromptu gatherings, and if you would like to join in, please follow the Cosmic Awakening Show Facebook page to be notified of the meetups. The East Coast Tour will commence this fall. There will be no charge to attend this event, but donations will be greatly appreciated, as I am ironically going to have to use a lot of fuel along the way as I pull my little home on wheels across the U.S. on my magical journey. You can also sponsor your own gatherings in your hometown. If you not have enough people locally to create a small group, you could do a Google Hangout or Skype your friends, as the internet has made virtual group gatherings possible these days. Please consider taking this energy work around the world as we light up every part of the planet. I will be posting videos on my YouTube channels, Michelle Walling and the Cosmic Awakening Show, that go into further details along my journey, and these can serve as guides on how to anchor these energies in a group setting. However, innately, everyone who is drawn to do this work knows deep inside how to do this, and there are no set rules or rituals that must be followed. All right, you can see there's a lot more to this. Last paragraph says, what we do with star seeds, waste showers, and light workers on this planet at this time is affecting all of humanity as well as the whole universe. We could not have done this all at once because it would have short-circuited our bodies, but on the other hand, we have reached the majority of enough people who hold the frequencies to where we have reached an acceleration point. Everything is happening as it should, and we would not be receiving this increase if we cannot handle it. If you are drawn to the subject of energy work, now is the time to focus your energy on integration and sharing. Without you, the energies would be beamed to the planet with no way to connect them to humanity. Thank all of you who have joined me in sharing my journey. I look forward to seeing you out on the road. All right, very good. So, energy shifts. We're feeling it. There's confirmations of it. We hear these confirmations more and more that we are in the midst of something quite spectacular that is happening. And as we tune into it, as we pay attention to it, we feel what is really going on. And that's exactly what she's talking about. And watch the video and really learn how to feel the energies around you. And I can guarantee you, as you do, you'll have a different outlook on life. You know, look at the cosmic weather like we do every day. Just look at what the astrology is. Look at the numbers. Look at the energy around you, and just try to decipher on a daily basis and learn from it. And as you do, you'll start to see these patterns in the way that we behave, and you'll understand that so much of life is really about psychology and sociology, how we individually behave and how we behave in groups. All right? All right. Here's a message for today. Comes to us from Hilarion.
Hilarion.
May 3rd through 10th, 2015, channeled by Marlene Swetleshoff.
Hilarion.
Beloved ones, as you walk the ways of the world you live in, you are daily changing yourselves and those around you. Meeting self in all of its aspects and nuances requires the utmost courage and sincerity of purpose, but the rewards for your persistence are becoming self-evident. When you look back in a time not too distant, you can see in hindsight that all of your experiences have brought you to this moment of clarity and inner strength. Every experience you have ever had has brought you greater insight, wisdom, and spiritual growth. As you move forward on your personal journey into higher consciousness, awareness, and understanding, you make it that much easier for others to find their way forward also. Through all of your self-imposed disciplines and spiritual practices through the years, you have learned that love of self is of the utmost importance on your spiritual quest, for it is from that love that the love of the divine finds expression through you. It is well for you to keep in mind that the ultimate purpose of your spiritual efforts is the building and strengthening of your etheric body of light. This body surrounds your physical body and is composed of many different aspects and layers. Each layer, the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, needs to transmute any and all energies and influences that prevent the light body from coming into greater prominence in your life. As the cleansing and purging of the human condition continues, that light body grows in luminosity and radiance. This is the ultimate objective of the divine plan, that humanity as a whole remembers the light that they truly are and expresses that light more until all density is transmuted. This is accomplished by daily living and practicing of the Golden Rule, the understanding that as you do unto others, so it is done unto you. That spiritual law has always been in existence along with that of harming none. Do not falter on your spiritual journey as these challenges come before you. These tests and trials are honing you into a being that has greatness within them. Each step that you take towards the ultimate purpose of your incarnation here upon the planet, is a step towards victory. When humanity moves beyond the confines of duality and polarity and chooses to express and manifest their greater light, the world will change and transform quickly. Look to the future then, with hope and with a peaceful heart. As long as you are sincerely making the effort to return to the light that is your true state of being, you are in harmony with the plan of your soul's journey into bringing all aspects of yourself into the greater light. Every person incarnate on the earth at this time has an equal opportunity to advance in their awareness and consciousness. It is all a matter of choice, as each person traverses the movement between dimensional frequency levels. There needs to be a greater cleansing of so much of Earth's long history of the forgetfulness of its inhabitants of that greater light which they are. All actions and deeds from the past which left great pockets of darkness in many places on the planet are areas that are now being cleansed and balanced. It is important to send your love, light, healing and support to these areas of the world where the inhabitants have been so severely tested, and to help in any way that is so sorely needed at this time. Put yourselves in their shoes for a moment and feel how grateful you would be for the most basic of necessities in such a situation. Offer your prayers for the highest outcomes to come to those who are suffering. There will be many areas of the world that will be transformed in many ways, and it is important that you stay centered, remain calm, and send out the light where it is needed most. All it takes is your focus and intention for a few moments several times a day. The planet Earth is home to all and is the only home to each of its inhabitants. Send light and love to this conscious and loving being also. Until next week. I am Hyla Ryan.
Alright, good message from Hyla Ryan. Or Hilarion, however it might actually be. Okay, today we have the Warrior of Light, and it is page 66. Here we go. The Warrior of Light is always trying to improve. Every blow of his sword carries with it a certain centuries of wisdom and meditation. Every blow needs to have the strength and the skill of all of the warriors of the past, who even today continue to bless the struggle. Each movement during combat honors the movements that the previous generation tried to transmit through the tradition. The warrior develops the beauty of his blows. And that brings us to our meditations. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. Exhale again. And breathe in again. And out. Now as you breathe, I want you to think about the Earth. Planet Earth. And I just want you to think about the life on planet Earth. Think about all the light and the love and the blessings that we have available to us, that are provided to us by Mother Earth. And let us give a thanks to the Earth right now. Thank you to the Earth for all the blessings you have given to us, for sustaining our life each and every day. We bless the ground that we walk upon, the air that we breathe, the sun that we feel, and the rain that waters us. We send love and light down into the planet right now, that this love and light be anchored deep into the core of Mother Earth. That Mother Earth feels the love and knows that we are working with her, not against her. So let's imagine as we go into the world today, that every step we take, we give thanks and blessing to Mother Earth. Let us think about all of the inhabitants of the earth and give thanks and blessings to all of them, no matter who they are. And let's send a wave of forgiveness around the planet right now, forgiving all who may have offended us in any way in this lifetime or any other lifetimes. Let us just send forgiveness and ask to be forgiven. And as we forgive and are forgiven, we raise our consciousness higher, knowing that all that we were holding on to was like an anchor. And as we let go of all of these grudges, we find ourselves moving, evolving, rising. So let us keep evolving, moving, and rising, and letting go as we continue to send love and light to the planet and to all inhabitants upon the earth. So let the subconscious mind continue on that journey, sending blessings out to the earth, and let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That is the show for today. Thank you so much for being here. I know I just rambled on a bit, but sometimes that's just the way it is. You know, we all have lots of thoughts in their heads. I certainly do, and I want us to live life smoothly and simply. I want us to move past all of the problems and challenges. We've all had enough of that. Nobody wants to have those anymore. We just want to live lives. We want to live and we want to be happy. So let's just do that. That's what I'm for. You have an awesome day. I'll talk to you next time. Probably back tomorrow. Until then, I love you. Keep loving each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.